from Studio 16 in Ciento Retrieving Final with your hosts, and Stacy Orozco.
Final take one.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Crusader Country, where we catch up with the activities going on in AOJ. I'm Stacy Orozco with my partner,
Caro. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get on with the show.
Today is June 20th, the penultimate day of the school year. I can almost taste that sweet summer break.
Oh yeah, the sweet taste of watermelon or Cora's frozen custard from the boardwalk.
Going for a dip at the swimming hole or body surfing at the Jersey Shore, but you can't do that if there's no water. Some people think that water might be the next fossil fuel. Like oil and gas, water is a natural resource that there is a chance we might run out of. Water shortage is even more of a concern with an increase in the number of droughts taking place around the world. How concerned should we be? Let's take a look.
One billion people have no access to safe drinking water. 125 million hours are spent daily by women and children collecting drinking water. 70% of the world's fresh water is used for agricultural irrigation, while most farming occurs in water-scarce regions. Water conservation school facilities. Tips for students and staff. Discuss water conservation with landscapers and janitorial crews. Post signs promoting conservation areas where water is used. Create a water-saving suggestion box for students and staff. Develop programs to promote water conservation in the community. Stay informed about the latest requirements for water conservation. Why is water conservation important? Demonstrates responsible resource management, saves energy and money, keeps water rates lower by delaying the need to develop new water supplies. Benefits wildlife and our ecosystem. Saving water is a part of our community's identity. Water is life.
So our water shortage is extremely unfortunate. It's so sad that water, an everyday thing that we should be able to have, is we're getting less and less of every single day. So, yeah.
One way to avoid drought is to conserve water. Here's some simple things you can do both at school and around your house to help cut back on water use.
Droughts are a very common occurrence in certain areas of the world. A drought is a lack of precipitation over a long period of time. The worst areas for droughts are located in Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, and New Mexico. Droughts can cause many different issues, including limiting the amount of drinking water. It can also affect the air quality and food supply. Now would be a good time to start paying attention to water conservation.
I know one way I can help conserve water is by not leaving my sink running when brushing my teeth and taking short showers.
I know, I take really long showers, so. One of the most important things you can do personally to help the environment to reduce your carbon footprint. In other words, do less harm to the environment. What can one person do? Our next report answers that question. Roll that video, Joe.
One, recycle more. Making a pledge to recycle your waste and take advantage of your local recycling bins and facilities. 2. Cut out plastic. Choose to use paper shopping bags, metal straws, and or any other plastic allowances or alternatives where possible. 3. Minimize food waste. Place organic food scraps in a compost bucket and or use it to feed your garden. Try to finish your meals in restaurants and takeaways. Store food correctly by placing it in cool, dry, and cupboard or fridge type of areas. Number 4, save water. Saving water is critical for South Africans, not only when there is drought, but every single day. Only flush the toilet when necessary. Reduce your shower time and reduce the minutes. 5, use eco-friendly products. Starting to use eco-friendly products or cleaning products such as shampoos, detergents, dishwashing liquids, etc. Opt for low photophosphate products, as these are better for water systems, rivers, and oceans. Number 6, fertilize your garden. Take care of your garden, especially during the winter. Use organic waste, vegetable offcuts, from your kitchen to start a compost. Use these composts to feed your plants. Compost is an amazing natural fertilizer for plants, lawns, and trees. It's a better alternative. You can use conventional fertilizers to keep your soil full and well of nutrients. It's all good. You can go.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Number 7, grow vegetables and herbs. Do some research on local plant species and hardy flora that do not require too much water. These are the best options when planting seeds. Start a vegetable garden and plant your own tomatoes, carrots, spinach, and any other vegetables that are healthy. Number 8, reduce electricity usage. Make an effort to minimize your electricity usage. You know how we all use our phones these days and computers and all that? Reduce that a little bit. Switch off the lights when needed and when not in that room. Or turn off the television when you're not watching, or unplug your cell phone. Charge it when it's not in use. Number 9, buy local. Shop at closest stores to your house or at convenient supermarket on the way home. Visit your local markets on the weekend and support your local grocers and farmers. Number 10, use public transport. Try to make use of these public transport systems as much as possible. This will reduce the number of vehicles on the road, easing traffic congestion and reducing carbon emissions, making it easier for the air to be more breathable.
Reducing your carbon footprint is extremely important now that summer is coming up. I know that one way I will try and improve this topic is by carrying around a reusable water bottle with me rather than carrying multiple plastic water bottles, which are not the greatest for the environment.
One of the biggest threats to our environment is the rise in global warming. How serious is it? Should we start to sweat over the increase in temperatures around the world? Are natural disasters happening more frequently? Are storms, floods, and hurricanes becoming more severe? We have some answers in our next report.
Global warming is a serious problem in our current day and age. According to climate.nasa.gov, the planet's average surface temperature has risen about 2 degrees Fahrenheit or 1 degree Celsius since the late 19th century. This change in temperature has been largely caused by carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere. The main cause of most global warming and climate change is human activity. Also from NASA, most of the increased heat has been absorbed by oceans. This uptake in ocean temperature can cause disastrous consequences for marine life and ocean ecosystems. It also causes coral bleaching and loss of breeding grounds for fish and mammals. The ice sheets are shrinking in size. Each year, Greenland and Antarctica have lost 279 billion and 148 billion tons of ice repeatedly every year. This obviously has devastating consequences on the environment, as Arctic animals like polar bears depend on those ice sheets and glaciers as their homes and visitation areas. As glaciers are disappearing all across the world, such as in the Alps, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. Another problem is sea levels are rising 8 inches in the last century, and in 2 decades have doubled since the previous 8 inches. According to concerned scientists and activists at climateclock.world, we have less than 7 years before we reach the point of no return to stop the increase of global warming.
It's really unfortunate to see what's going on with the weather around the world. I don't even want to know what it's like in the next few years. I know when I get home, I'll do my research.
Air quality is getting worse as the population increases and fossil fuel emissions rise up. Next up, we have a report about air pollution and what we can do to help reduce it. We spoke to our staff and students here at ALJ to get their take on this topic.
Hi, this is Connor Chin, and today we're going to talk about air pollution. As most of you know, air pollution is the contamination of air in the atmosphere, and it has a direct impact on global warming and the environment. To get an expert's take, we spoke to Dr. Giannatasio, a teacher here at ALJ. How does air pollution affect the Earth's temperature?
Well, there's greenhouse gases, obviously, that are part of what causes the greenhouse effect. Without the greenhouse gases, the temperature on the Earth would be, 40 to 80 degrees colder. So we need the greenhouse effect in order to keep the Earth temperature the way they are. The issue is the increase in the greenhouse effect, and that's how it affects the Earth's temperature. By putting more and more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, we're increasing the effect of the greenhouse effect, which then can lead to temperature increase in the Earth.
What adds the most air pollution into the atmosphere?
Well, it probably used to be factories, but they've gotten a lot better with factories and by installing scrubbers, which are like electrostatic filters to keep the, a lot of the things that would have normally been in the atmosphere, no longer in the atmosphere. So probably at this point, it's probably more travel, more, automobiles and things of that nature, because the factories have done a pretty good job of cleaning them up.
Okay.
I often drive my car either coming to school and going back home or going to the gym.
I drive my car mostly just going to school and back and just picking up my brother. So about just say 20 to 25-minute drives.
What can we do as individuals to help reduce air pollution?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do. Obviously, the simple things like just to walk or take your bike rather than drive if you can, carpool, those sorts of things. But on a bigger scale, I think it's just being a little bit more aware environmentally of what's going on, trying to make sure that if you can conserve fuel. When you heat your home, those are also fossil fuels. So, maybe not heat your home at as a higher temperature where fossil fuels are being used. Electricity is also a fossil fuel, which a lot of people don't realize. Much of the electricity is generated through burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, natural gas. So conserving on electricity and things of that nature. So there's a lot of things that individuals can do that maybe won't inconvenience them all that much as something on a larger scale, like trying to get yourself an electric vehicle. If you just went with some of those other things in your everyday life, it could help.
Okay.
I think one of the ways I can reduce air pollution is probably riding on my bike, doing skateboarding, walking, just not to use my car more as often.
Right. If I have the opportunity to, I will ride my bike to places if it's a short distance. If it's somewhere like going down to the shore or going to school, then I will drive.
I know some ways I'm going to help prevent air pollution is by encouraging all of my friends and family to walk more instead of using car transportation.
I know I do, even if it's a very long walk. But speaking of what's going on in the air outdoors, today's a beautiful day. Let's see if this warm trend will continue. Here's Jake Brower with the weather.
Hey guys, I'm Jake Brower and I'm here with the weather. For today's weather, it will be about partly cloudy for most of the day, and the temperatures are going to be at a high of 82 and around a low of 54. The humidity will rise somewhat throughout the day. Tomorrow's weather, again, will be partly cloudy, with some humidity also later on in the day. The temperatures will be around at a high of 80 and around a low of 60, and that's it for the weather. And always remember, no matter what's going on outside, it's always sunny here in Studio 16. Back to you guys at the anchor desk.
Thanks for that weather update, Jake. Let's see what's going on in sports across the U.S. Here is Aiden Belverio to fill us in on that.
Hey guys! The NBA Finals were not exponential this year, with all 6 of the games being decided with a double-digit difference. In the end, Steph Curry won his 4th ring and also won Finals MVP. Glad to see Curry still doing well. And Jordan Peele was a development star. Now, let's talk about the MLB. With my favorite team, go Yankees, being the best team in the MLB with a record of 49-17. Ended up losing yesterday in a close one, 9-10, but we are still doing great. I think we have a shot at winning it all this year. Now for the Mets. Ew. Yankees are better and always will be, but the Mets are first in the NL, having a great season too, sadly. Losing badly to the Marlins. Let's go! But still having a great record, 44-24 in the NHL. But in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, the Avalanches and Lightnings are up. The Avalanches win one game in a close one, 4-3 in overtime. But in the second game, Avalanches take over, winning and destroying 7-0. They are now in the lead, 2-0. Got to win 2 more games. Game 3 will be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm very glad to see the Rangers lose in the final conference. Let's go! Go Devils! I am very ready for this upcoming season with a thriller free agency in the NFL and a great draft too. It should be an even better season with many teams on a rise and many teams on a downfall after this free agency and draft. Should be excited to see who wins the Lombardi Trophy. That's the sports talk today. I'm late to the courts. Hoya! Back to the front desk.
Thank you, Aiden, for that sports update.
It was very entertaining, I'm not gonna lie.
We know that summer gives us a lot of more free time. For some of us, that means days at the beach, hanging poolside with friends. For those of you who prefer to stay indoors and play video games, here's Jack Galuto with a review of a retro game that's been renewed and updated. Let's check out the latest edition of Power Sleeve Exhume.
Power Slave Exhumed is one of the best remasters of an old first-person shooter game I've ever played. It smoothly combines old and new mechanics. This remaster is the perfect hybrid and synchronization of the original PlayStation and Sega Saturn versions of Power Slave. The latest version is available for Windows, Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. The original 1996 release was for multiple platforms, Sega Saturn, Sony PlayStation, and MS-DOS. Each of the platforms had differences between them, with the MS-DOS version being almost an entirely different game. However, the beauty of Power Slave Exhumed is that it takes elements from each of those 3 different platforms to create an entirely new experience. If you're a fan of the original game, don't worry. Power Slave Exhumed has both the Blue Scorpion and Red Spider enemies from the Sega Saturn and PlayStation versions of the 1996 game. This game is one of the earliest examples of a first-person Metroidvania game. Metroidvania games are a genre of video games which allows you to explore rich and expansive labyrinths while collecting different items to enhance your player character. Though in most of these games, the perspective is from a side-scrolling point of view, Power Slave was unique for its time in that the POV is first-person. This would undoubtedly inspire later games in the genre, such as Metroid Prime and others. Although at first blush, it would seem as though a first-person POV wouldn't work in a large open-ended space like a Metroidvania game, it surprisingly flows very cohesively. The plot of the game is quite simple and light for FPS standards of this era. You play as an unnamed soldier sent into the city of Karnak, Egypt, to explore a wide variety of caves, ruins, and even spaceships to stop an alien species named the Killmot. The alien enemies intend to use the remains of Ramesses the Great to rule the world and enslave humanity. The progression of your character's powers in the game is also a great highlight to really showcase its Metroidvania roots. You start out with only a knife and a revolver, both of which are good but weak weapons, especially against foes that are bigger than spiders and scorpions. As you progress, you get better weapons and items. These include a machine gun, a flamethrower, a magical serpent staff, and ancient Egyptian rings and gauntlets. There are also item upgrades available which increase the amount of abilities you can do. Some of these increased powers include the ability to hover, fly, breathe underwater, open force fields, and jump higher than you'd normally be able to. There are also a couple of boss fights in the game, including Set, Selkis, and the Killmot Queen herself as the final boss. In conclusion, that's why Power Slave Exhumed is one of the greatest remasters of an old 90s game I've ever played. It has really great graphics, fantastic gameplay, and enough tricks and challenges to keep you thoroughly invested in your playthrough. Personally, I didn't have any issues with levels of difficulty, game crashes, or poor frame rate. Once you start playing, it's as smooth as glass. I give it a 9 out of 10 for upgrading an old classic with superb graphics and outstanding FPS gameplay. Night Dive Studios has raised the bar for all future remasters. This is Jack Gattulo covering all of the newest classics.
I'm not a big video game fan, but I know from time to time I play Roblox with my younger siblings. One of my favorite games on there is the Cheese Escape game.
I'm not gonna lie, that game is pretty terrifying. I've played it once and I screamed very loud. But one of the projects we learned in TV production class is how to shoot a two-person interview. We learned how to master over-the-shoulder shots and shoot with a single camera and make it look like multi-cam coverage. It also gave us an opportunity to learn a little bit more about our classmates.
Hi, my name is Joseph Maraglia, and I'm here with
Caro.
And I'm going to ask her a few questions to get to know her a little better. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Slow walkers.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm walking too fast and then I'll step on their foot.
If you can only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Cheese quesadillas from Taco Bell.
Why would it be cheese quesadillas from Taco Bell?
Because I really like the sauce that they use.
What's your favorite movie?
Tangled.
What's your favorite part from Tangled?
I really like Mother Gothel's song when she sings. Mother knows best.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is the dark.
Why are you afraid of the dark?
Because I swear since I was a child there's been something in my closet, so.
What's your favorite color?
Green.
Why is green your favorite color?
Because ever since I was a baby my room has been painted green, so it kind of stuck.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really.
Wow, it's been an exquisite time getting to know you, Kai.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun answering these questions, Joe.
Well, reporting from Crusader Country, I'm Joseph Maraglia. Back to you, Scar.
So that was my interview I did with Joe Smags, he's over there, and Jamie Ronaldo, she's here. It was very fun. I had a lot of fun in Scar's class this year. I love all of you guys. It was very fun. But yeah.
That's it for today's show. Thank you for stopping by Crusader Country. Stay safe and remember, you can check us out anytime on the World Wide Web. This is Stacy Orozco with my partner,
Caro,
from Studio 16 in the heart of Crusader Country. Remember to check us out on the web until we're on your screen again. Stay well and have a great summer.
And one of the best classes ever, man. I gotta say right here, folks. A1. How
That's
about
a
A1? Give me a big 6, A6.
Hey!
A6. Bye, bye.